We are interrupting Scott McFarland to bring you to another area of Capitol Hill. Boeing CEO Dave Calhoun testifying before a Senate subcommittee regarding concerns of safety and manufacturing of the company's aircraft. Looks like he's addressing the crowd. Let's listen.
Prices in Wisconsin have gone up by more than 20%.
All right, everybody, it looks like that feed from inside that Senate subcommittee has gone down. We're going to try and get that back. It's probably an issue on their end. We're going to work on that. You just saw a snippet from another event that we're monitoring, live events from Racine, Wisconsin, and former President Trump having a rally there, of course, in the wake of allegations that he called Milwaukee, which is not too far there from Racine, a horrible city. Of course, Milwaukee being the site of next month's RNC, but Trump is denying that he said that. Let me tell you a little bit more about this Boeing subcommittee hearing and what we're expecting to hear. So this is the outgoing CEO of Boeing as we look at Capitol Hill right now, Dave Calhoun. He is said to be leaving by the end of the year, resigning. There is yet to be a new CEO named, but obviously he's under a lot of pressure since not only events that have just taken place this year in terms of that door panel off an Alaska Airlines flight blowing off, but also really what's been years of pressure and issues. Remember the 2018 MAX 8 flight that went down in Indonesia, the 2019 MAX 8 flight that went down in Ethiopia. In fact, family members today, in advance of this hearing, were talking about why they think Boeing hasn't been living up to its safety promises. And looks like we got the feedback. Let's listen.
Following these tragic accidents, I joined the aviation industry as president and CEO of GE Aircraft Engines. My introduction to aerospace safety was after the tragic accident in 1989 of United Airlines Flight 232 in Sioux City, Iowa. Due to an uncontained engine failure, it led to sweeping changes in our industry's safety management processes and contributed significantly to flight safety going forward. And from this experience, I understand the gravity of Boeing's role in upholding the integrity of aerospace safety in our industry. We deeply regret the impact that the Alaska Airlines Flight 1282 accident had on Alaska Airlines team and its passengers. And we are grateful to the pilots and crew for safely landing the plane. We are thankful that there were no fatalities. From the beginning, we took responsibility and cooperated transparently with the NTSB and the FAA in their respective investigations. In our factories and in our supply chain, we took immediate action to ensure the specific circumstances that led to this accident could never happen again. Importantly, we went beyond to look comprehensively at our quality and manufacturing systems, and we slowed things down dramatically. To launch this more comprehensive look, we've held stand-downs in our plants, and we've listened to our employees and acted on their ideas. We've brought in an independent quality expert to assess our processes, and we have announced our intention to reacquire Spirit Aerosystems, the manufacturer of our fuselage. In consideration of these inputs, Boeing developed a comprehensive safety and quality action plan with very specific metrics which we will use to hold ourselves accountable and the FAA will use to provide the oversight required. Most importantly, it is our people, over 170,000 around the world, who are our greatest strength. We've asked every one of our employees to consider themselves an aviation safety advocate. We're committed to making sure every employee feels empowered to speak up if they see a problem. We also have strict policies that prohibit retaliation against employees who come forward. It is our job to listen, regardless of how we obtain feedback, and handle it with the seriousness it deserves. Much has been said about Boeing's culture. We've heard those concerns loud and clear. Our culture is far from perfect, but we are taking action and we are making progress. We understand the gravity, and we're committed to moving forward with transparency and accountability while elevating employee engagement every step of the way. Our airplanes have carried the equivalent of more than double the population of the planet. Getting this right is critical for our company. It's critical for our customers who fly our planes every day, and it's critical for our country. We're part of a global ecosystem composed of manufacturers, suppliers, airlines, airports, air traffic controllers, and regulators. And they're all committed to learning from every incident. It is this relentless focus on improvement that has led to our industry's unparalleled safety record. And it is with this mindset we're taking comprehensive action to strengthen safety and quality. And we know, as America's premier aerospace manufacturer, this is what you and the flying public have every right to expect from us. And thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Howard and I will be happy to take your questions.
Thank you, Mr. Calhoun. We will have 7-minute rounds. I'll begin. Mr. Calhoun, more than 5 years after the MAX crashes, you're once again making promises and seeming commitments. They seem highly aspirational. They are very general to correct course. Do you think Boeing has done enough to date to make those kinds of corrections? And what would you say to the whistleblowers who have come forward and faced retaliation?
Senator, thank you for the question. I ask myself that question every day. Have we done enough? I remind everyone the findings and the accidents. And we all participated in the investigative work. We saw the conclusions by virtue of the NTSB reports and the local regulators' reports. These issues were attributed to the development of the airplane and a software package referred to as MCAS. And there we took responsibility for that error.
You accept that Boeing was responsible for those crashes and 346 deaths?
I accept that MCAS and Boeing are responsible for those crashes.
But
yes, sir.
Has enough been done to date already?
So this is the answer to that question. The development process for an airplane starts with an engineering effort. So we have revamped our engineering effort at large. We have created a series of design practices, including a new one referred to as human factors. It speaks directly to the work that needed to be done to prevent MCAS from creating the environment that those pilots faced at that moment. So we did that. We established a safety management system. We learned from the FAA and from our airline customers what it was and how to implement it. We've been listening to it. We tuned that safety management system into every airplane that flies every second of every day, so that we could learn from those airplanes.
Let me be more specific, and I apologize for interrupting, but we're limited in terms of time. Boeing has a code of conduct that states, and I quote, "I will never retaliate against or punish anyone who speaks up to report a concern," end quote. And yet the whistleblowers that we have heard, including testifying before this committee, have reported a host of retaliatory behaviors, from reassignment to exclusion from key meeting to being sidelined and sidetracked in their careers, verbal harassment and threats, and even physical violence. After whistleblower John Barnett raised his concerns about missing parts, he reported that his supervisor called him 19 times in one day and 21 times another day. And when Barnett asked his supervisor about those calls, he was told, quote, "I'm going to push you until you break." He broke. When whistleblower Sam Mohawk raised concerns about Boeing's concealment of non-conforming parts, he was put in charge of completing corrective action investigations with an impossible deadline, and then threatened with formal discipline, including firing. He couldn't meet that deadline. When I hear about these experiences, I wonder whether Boeing really wants change. How can you reassure us that Boeing is going to, in fact, end this broken safety culture?
Senator, I'm going to start by assuring you that I listened to the whistleblowers that appeared at your hearing. Something went wrong. And I know the sincerity of their remarks.
Well, let me ask you a more specific.
And then with respect to our company, we do have a policy. I often cite and reward the people who bring issues forward, even if they have huge consequence on our company and our production levels, et cetera. My leadership team does that. We survey our people with respect to, do they feel empowered to speak up? That survey performance gets better and better. It's never perfect. We work hard to reach out to our people. Immediately following Alaska, we had a stand down. The stand downs continue and they rotate, and we listen to everybody. I'm trying to deal with 30,000 ideas on how we can move forward. How do we make their jobs easier? How do we train them more effectively? How do we do that? Our team
Let me
are
ask you,
working hard to listen.
Mr. Calhoun, let me ask you, how many of your employees have been fired for retaliating against whistleblowers?
Senator, I don't have that number on the tip of my tongue, but I know it. I know it happens. I know it happens. I am happy to follow up and get you that number.
I would appreciate your following up. Let me ask you, have any of your supervisors, your managers, anybody been fired for retaliating against people who speak truth to power about defects or problems in production?
Senator, we have fired people and disciplined people, and I am happy to follow up with what you need.
Who have you fired, and how have they been disciplined?
I have concern on privacy, and as you know, every one of those cases.
But will you come back to this committee and tell us?
I will most certainly get back to you, sir.
Let me ask you, have you been aware of how Boeing has complied with requests for information from this committee?
Probably not by line item. No, sir.
Well, let me show you a sample of the data produced by Boeing in response to requests by this committee. I'll show you a bigger display, and the details have been provided to you. Are you able to make sense of this?
No, sir.
Complete gobbledygook.
Yes, sir.
This is what Boeing has provided to this committee in response to our requests for information. Can you justify these productions?
I will. I would describe it precisely as you did, and I can't justify. And I will most definitely follow up.
My time has expired on this first round, and we're going to try to stick to the time limits because we have a number of colleagues here, and I want everybody to have a first round. We will have a second round for colleagues who want to do it. I turn now to the ranking member.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Pick up where the chairman just left off. You said you'll check into that. Did you talk to the individual responsible for complying with our information requests? Have you had a meeting with that individual or that group of individuals?
Senator Johnson, my team knows, and I have talked to them about the need for transparency at every level and every stage. So beyond that, as a backdrop, no, I did not review each line item.
So who would be your direct report responsible for providing this committee the information, the subcommittee the information it requested?
Yeah, it'll be a combination of my counsel and my government affairs office.
Okay, so you'll talk to them today about this?
Yes, well, they're right behind me, and so I'm sure, yes, it's registered.
You said you've listened to the whistleblowers. Have you directly spoken to any of the whistleblowers?
I have not directly spoken to any of the whistleblowers.
Do you think that'd be a good idea to do that?
Yeah, I think it would.
I'd recommend it.
Yep.
Exactly what are you doing then to investigate the whistleblower complaints? If you haven't spoken to them directly.
Yes, sir.
I mean, again, have you just turned it over to your counsel or?
No, we have a team. We have an ethics hotline and a team of investigators. The most important thing in every whistleblower out of the chute is to make sure we understand the substantive issue that is being discussed and do safety analysis immediately and go out and interview everybody that's involved and or has touched any of that work and assure ourselves that we have safe airplanes. And if there are corrective actions to take with respect to the points that they make with us, that's what we do. And we try to get on that immediately. But there's always an objective view and a number of perspectives, particularly with respect to engineering disciplines that have to come to bear on it.
So how many employees does Boeing have?
170,000.
So having run a much smaller operation, I mean, first thing I can say is I realize that I don't control what everybody does. You try and set policies. You can communicate as clearly as possible. People are people. The question I have for you, because it's actually quite shocking to have a supervisor calling somebody up 19 times in one day, and making the statement that I'm going to break you. My guess is you don't condone that kind of behavior. Have you looked at your incentive system within Boeing? And let's face it, there's obviously pressure on your sales, from your sales force to your manufacturing operation to deliver the planes that they've sold to airlines. Again, there's pressure throughout companies, and I can just imagine that the pressure is being applied to Boeing associates throughout the company. Okay, I get that. I've been in manufacturing. But have you reviewed, for example, your incentive systems that maybe would drive that kind of behavior, having to meet quotas, or have you reviewed that?
Yeah, this year we made a number of significant changes to our incentive structure that really emphasizes all things safety, including the running a just culture with that respect. And a just culture, I think, is the environment that you would like us to run. And so yes, that incentive alignment is now in place.
So prior to our last hearing, one of the articles I read, whether fair or unfair, talked about your disclosures, it's probably the SEC, where you were scoring high on ESG and DEI, and your score was 0 on your quality. These are internal quality performance measures. Can you speak to that report?
That's a fact.
Because the point being is,
yes.
Is Boeing's management, are they concentrating on DEI and ESG and at the expense of really meeting your quality performance measures?
Senator, I've never seen those two things ever come into conflict. I don't believe my team has ever allowed for them to come into conflict in any way.
It's not necessarily conflict, it's what you're emphasizing, where you're putting your management emphasis.
Yes. Well, again, Senator, there's a comp system. There's also what we work on every day, all day, knowing how important and critical it is for the future of our company. Safety and quality is it. It's been that way since January of 2020 because of what we have been responding to. Safety and quality. That is what we talk about.
I'll mention another article, and the reason I'm doing this is one of the reasons we need a free press. It'd be nice to have a completely unbiased free press, but we need investigative reporting. We only have so much staff here at a subcommittee level or even a committee level, so we really do need journalists going out there and digging up stories. But one of the ones I thought interesting before this hearing spoke to the very real problem, the difficulty you are having in finding, well, first of all, your workforce, manufacturing workforce is aging. Throwing COVID on there, early retirements, that type of thing, you lost a lot of experience. And in the past, it sounds like Boeing was able to tap into a workforce that had experience in the aerospace industry. And you don't have that luxury anymore. I'm not exactly sure when that changed. I know, coming from manufacturing myself, it's been difficult to hire people in a manufacturing operation because, let's face it, we tell our kids, you got to get a 4-year degree and you want to be in management. So we don't encourage people to go into manufacturing. But can you speak to that issue, or maybe Mr. McKenzie can speak to that issue in terms of just your challenges in hiring people in a manufacturing setting for a very high quality, high demand aerospace industry?
Senator Johnson, and I appreciate the question more than you know. The post-COVID moment in the aerospace industry has been unbelievably difficult to navigate. We have 10,000 suppliers. We put almost 2.5 million parts into a 787. Boeing, because it's big and it has resources, even those were strained. We were able to keep more than most, but like you say, we turned over a lot of people, and yes, a lot of experienced people. Our supply chain experienced enormous turnover. So as we try to respond to unbelievable demand for airplanes out there, we have a supply constraint that is very real, and it is not resolved today. And I think one of the most important things we can do, we've done it in a few large instances, but now we have to train ourselves to do it at small instances, meaning every employee. If a part's not there on time, if a part's non-conforming, we will stop the line. So much of this relates to an untrained workforce. I tell you, it's all about that, honestly.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Calhoun.
Senator Hassan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Ranking Member Johnson, for holding this hearing. To the families and loved ones of the people we have lost to Boeing safety failures, our condolences, and thank you for continuing to advocate for your loved ones and for airline safety generally and for the safety of the public. Mr. Calhoun, it seems like every other day news breaks of a new problem or safety concern with Boeing.
We have been listening to Boeing CEO Dave Calhoun testifying before this Senate subcommittee. Specifically, it's the Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Subcommittee on Investigations. And he's testifying about safety and manufacturing concerns of the company's aircraft. Calhoun says he deeply regrets the impact of the door panel that flew off in Alaska Airlines flight in January. Specifically, he said, quote, "We are thankful there were no fatalities." He says his company is committed to listening to Boeing employees who come forward with concerns. Remember, there have been a lot of whistleblower reports as of late, including just yesterday. Calhoun says Boeing is taking comprehensive action to strengthen safety and quality. Senator Blumenthal specifically grilled Calhoun on the harassment of whistleblowers who have come forward, despite it being company policy not to do so. Calhoun says he hadn't spoken directly to any of the whistleblowers. When asked whether any employees have been disciplined or fired for retaliating against whistleblowers, Calhoun said he'd have to get back to the senators.